Still looking at me.
Yo, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? How are you doing today? Mighty here, and welcome back into another reaction video at your service. I'm good, just a typical slow and quite peaceful for Monday, but I think it's time that we need to turn it up a notch because it's time for a Death Battle episode. We're talking about Omni-Man versus Homelander. It's Invincible versus the Boys. Now, this is going to be a very interesting matchup, and the fact that they share the kind of same abilities, you know, super strength, flight, heat vision, etc., kind of like, I don't know, Superman, but they are downright sinister and evil, if you get the term. Now, Omni-Man, however, honestly, I was okay with that. And the fact that I have watched a few episodes, and I'll never forget the moment that unveils his true nature or his true colors and decimating every member of the Guardians of the Globe and just brutally down, and every single one of them tried their best, and yet it doesn't, not one did not take one person down, being incredibly strong and just that predictable. And it's just, his eyes says everything. And not to mention of that, the infamous, that became a meme, quote unquote, think Mark. No, thank you, J.K. Simmons, for doing that. And hopefully that we will get to see him again in the season 2. Now, Homelander, the other hand, you know, honestly, he is just downright this absolute shady. And, you know, he could be the calm and collective and being the kind of guy that will save the world. But there's a lot more behind of that smile of his. And it's just insane. And I'm talking about, when he just used his own heat vision and just wiping every fans out there. I mean, what the hell is wrong with him? Jesus. So I only mostly familiar of the original comics that was from the graphic novel to the omnibus, and that's all I know. So yeah, I needed to get back on from the first season and season 2. But let's go ahead and take a look at this episode, and let's see who they're gonna make it, or more importantly, who's gonna survive this fight. So let's see if you place your bets on Omni-Man or Homelander. But let's go ahead and get right to it, and time to react.
Omni-Man, the invincible champion from planet Viltrum.
Homelander, the world's greatest superhero, brought to you by Vought International.
Few heroes have stood the test of time with more aplomb than the very first, Superman. But what if absolute power did, in fact, corrupt absolutely?
To the mind.
We're all screwed. He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
Oh snap, they're gonna go with a new animation. Okay.
Look, up in the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane. No, it's Omni-Man. Had you going there for a second, huh?
Not really. His name is
just a
inside
little.
The video.
Well, you might be forgiven for mistaking Nolan Grayson for his classic comic inspiration. He's
pretty
even
much
got that sexy mustache that he's not afraid to hide with terrible CGI. Born on the planet Viltrum, Nolan was
he's got the mustache of Tom Selleck.
Powered alien defender, and
so he's 1,000 years old.
Damn. And as his
and he looks like he's in his 50s.
There was no one better suited to the task. He saved the world countless times.
Really wants his son to
globe, and even married and had a son, Mark.
Life couldn't be better until Mark inherited his dad's Viltrumite powers. That's when Mark found out that his dad was a stinking rat bastard liar.
Yep. Turns out Viltrum wasn't exactly the peaceful utopia Nolan promised.
Peaceful in the sense that they culled half their population, murdering billions with their bare hands until only the strongest were left.
Okay,
united by
this is one episode I have not got that far.
This empire then went on to conquer planet after planet in their home galaxy, murdering any who dared oppose them. So just scratch that whole peaceful part entirely.
And turns out Omni-Man was here to do that same thing to Earth. Sorry, Mark. Your dad's a dick.
Even worse, he's easily the most powerful being on the entire planet.
Imagine combining the raw power of a Kryptonian and the bloodlust of a Saiyan.
Oh,
And what you get is basically
I
Viltrumite.
honestly, I did not thought of that way.
Viltrumites are composed of smart atoms that they can manipulate to achieve superhuman feats, like holding their breath for weeks on end by drawing more energy from the oxygen inside them.
Kinda reminds me of that whole bioelectric aura thing Superman has. That's basically how comic writers bullshit a science-y explanation for his powers.
Except smart atoms make even less sense. How can atomic structure be designated by your DNA? DNA is made of atoms. It's completely nonsensical biological hogwash that I cannot stand.
Uh-oh, comics
Oh,
fan.
sounds like
this.
Wiz is getting upset there.
Viltrumites can fly, withstand near absolute zero temperatures, and even possess insane healing factors. You know,
Yeah,
stuff like
he
getting
can
punched through the
heal
stomach,
like
having your
a
guts
day.
ripped out, or having your face smashed up in a tomato soup. I don't mean to exaggerate, but
That is
Viltrumites in this
brutal.
series get fucked up and somehow survive.
However, too much trauma to the brain or heart can overtax their healing factors, and intense heat can be especially damaging.
Even the most powerful Viltrumites can be killed by extended baths in the spicy hot plasma of a star.
And because of their abilities, their inner ear vestibular system is far more sensitive than a regular human's. Intense sonic pressure will disrupt their fragile equilibrium and even prevent them from flying.
Though pushing themselves to their physical limits only ends up making them way stronger. And considering Nolan has been alive and
See
planted
this is what I'm talking about. This right here is so effed up.
Other aliens attacking him will literally splatter their bodies against him.
Jesus.
Mark didn't inherit everything from his dad, despite his alien genes.
He's
Mark
like
was
a
raised as
human
with
juggernaut
a
that's so
pathetic
solid
human
that
values
he
like
would just
love and
run
compassion,
over and get
not
smushed
brutally
like
murdering the shit out of everyone you see like a maniac. Really made it difficult for
they're
Nolan to relate
like
to
they're all
his
just a
kids.
Such
bunch
as
of
when
chickens.
aliens invaded Earth. Mark tried his best
I'm
to
sure that's not a
minimize
right
casualties and
analogy.
outsmart his numerically superior foes.
Nolan, meanwhile, tackled their leader through the portal back to their homeworld, then spent some time systematically annihilating their planet for even daring to take Earth from him. Classic generational divide.
Annihilate is underselling it. Nolan flew so fast that his body lit their planet's atmosphere on fire, creating massive country-sized explosions, with his own body as the projectile.
Just looking
Omni-Man
back to
has
seeing
flown
that
across
part, it
galaxies
is
in
just
only a week, survived punching a
neat.
hole through a planet, and even deflected a meteor the size of Texas.
Assuming that means the diameter of the meteor
What?
is equivalent to the distance from the top of the Panhandle to the Gulf of Mexico. That would make it 1,300 kilometers wide.
And weigh over 4.6 quintillion tons, moving at re-entry speeds of over 11,000 meters per second, and hit with enough energy to destroy the moon twice over.
So Omni-Man is strong enough to slaughter those who
It's-
consider him an ally,
it's-
the Guardians of the Globe, all to ensure as seamless a transition to the coming Viltrumite rule as possible.
Too bad for Nolan, it wouldn't be that easy, because he'd have to go through his son first.
Mark was horrified by his father's treachery, spurred on by the reveal that Nolan only viewed his mother as a pet, a disposable broodmare. Invincible fought Omni-Man to save the planet.
And
that
that's
would
when
piss
Mark's real Viltrumite
Mark
training
off.
began. Get it? Training? Like
That-
the train?
oh
we
my
get it.
God.
It was a good pun. Jesus.
But if anything, it was Omni-Man that learned a lesson about humanity that day.
He may have tried to turn Mark into a Viltrumite, but in reality, as Nolan fled Earth with tears in his eyes, Mark made his father human. Welcome to Vought International, a multi-billion-dollar American conglomerate whose #1 products are the greatest superheroes on the face of the earth.
That's right.
Not really.
Superheroes are real and they're big business.
Imagine a company that possesses a monopoly on popular culture, pumping out movies, TV shows, action figures, and video games constantly, drowning the masses in a slurry of focus-tested nostalgia opium with no end in sight.
Yeah, imagine.
Within Vought's pantheon of gods among
That
men
sounds like
is their
a
premier
sarcastic.
super team, the Seven, and its leader, Homelander.
He's got the looks, the charm, the Jesus, and most importantly, he's got the power to slaughter all of America's enemies at home and abroad. This guy probably
that was
eats
from
straight up
Diabolical.
shit's eagles.
But Homelander's squeaky clean corporate sheen is only skin deep. Far from the big blue Boy Scout he's marketed
Okay,
as,
so he's
Homelander's
41 years
probably
old.
the closest thing
John.
to Lucifer on Earth.
Remember Remember Bad Future Biff from Back to the Future? Now give him superpowers and media training.
Vought's official story is that Homelander was an alien who landed here as a baby, a tale we're all familiar with.
And one that's total bullshit. Homie was made in a lab with Vought's proprietary super soldier serum, Compound V.
And he was a complete success.
Too much of a success. He was murdering rooms of terrified scientists before his umbilical cord was even cut. In the comics, Vought had to keep a remote-controlled hydrogen bomb strapped to him at all times because they had no idea what else could possibly kill him.
As he grew up, he was subjected to psychological
They can't
conditioning
trust
to make
him.
him the greatest and
If
most
he does go
profitable
rogue,
hero
they
of
will
all time.
pull the
It
trigger.
wasn't long before he debuted as Homelander, the ultimate defender of the American dream.
Homelander possesses massively superhuman strength.
Okay, so
speed,
it has,
and durability.
enhanced
He can
hearing,
fly at hypersonic speeds,
like-
see through walls with X-ray vision, and detect a person's
I don't
emotional
see
state from just the sound of their heart.
healing
Well, you know
factor.
you're done for when he breaks out his heat vision, which is strong enough to slice through crowds
see,
of people.
see, this is
or
what I'm talking
split
about.
Airplanes in half.
Or screams so loud that it shatters the eardrums of anyone around him.
Those are
Damn.
innocent bystanders whose ears are exploding, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he totally botched this mission to stop a plane hijacking, so he forced each and everyone on board to die in the resulting crash so they wouldn't reveal his incompetence.
Well, Homelander's powers may be real,
Ooh.
but his heroism is a charade. Though he plays his part well, he cares nothing for the peons he's forced to protect.
No.
The only thing he treasures is, ironically, his public image. Turns out being raised as a lab experiment doesn't create a healthy person. But don't worry, he eventually cleaned up his act and started a totally 100% healthy sexual relationship with a fellow superhero who just happened to be an actual Nazi. Speaking
Oh,
of
God,
sex,
no.
you know how I'm always saying we should figure out it busy? Well, forget that, because Homelander proved that they can't when his ejaculation blew his partner to smithereens.
What?
Prove that!
Look, there's no way to sugarcoat this.
Jesus
Considering a
Christ!
load has much less mass than a shotgun pellet, it would have to be moving significantly faster to achieve the same kinetic energy, over 1,500 meters per second, or 4.5 times faster than sound.
That's right. Homelander can bust a nut faster than the speed of sound. Well, good night, everybody.
Oh, good
Kinda
lord.
sucks for humanity that they made this dude the most powerful being on the planet and a psycho murderer.
That's no exaggeration. Stillwell even commented that Homelander has proven immune to every weapon known to mankind, no matter
Yeah.
how powerful. Humanity literally lacks the ability to kill him.
That'd include nuclear weapons as powerful as the Tsar bomb, which exploded with the energy of 50 megatons of TNT.
Actually, it could have exploded with twice that. But the Soviets who created it were afraid it would irreversibly alter Earth's biosphere and end the world. That's right.
Really?
We all almost died.
And that's the kind of shit Homelander can shrug off no problem. He's strong enough to throw a jet with one hand and fast enough to outspeed a C4 explosion.
Despite being an emotionally stunted man-child, Homelander is still
Okay.
surprisingly cunning and able to
He
manipulate
is.
around him.
Though it probably wasn't too smart to piss off the world's angriest limey, Billy Butcher.
Butcher.
Yeah, turns out forcibly fathering a bastard son with someone else's wife is not a good idea.
Of note, as unjustifiable as it is, to Homelander, this gave him something he never had before. Some small measure of control over his own life.
Being born Vought's star pupil meant he was under their thumb from the day he was born. His superpowered son was the first thing that was truly his and might be his best option for a new beginning.
Oh my
Or
god!
Not.
Okay, so in that perspective, like Omni-Man, he's kind of like General Zod that knows what's best for his people and go through the links, try to hide of his secrecy, which that he just brutally and murdered every member of the Guardians of the Globe and beat the senseless to his son. Yeah. That's pretty much all that says about him. Homelander, you know, I'm gonna have to go with Wiz. He is basically a emotionless man-child, and I was gonna say a complete borderline sociopath that has a really, and I mean a really bad taste in bad women. And it gets his rocks on. So this is going to be a tough one, but let's see.
All right, the combatants are set. We've run the data through all possibilities.
It's time for
And yet he's still got a awesome mustache. Oh,
howdy,
crap.
neighbor. Coco? It's warm. You know, Nolan, Homelander is more than just a superhero. It might be cynical to say this, but he's a brand. And it's very important to me that that brand...
Yeah, see what I mean?
Something.
Sociopath and
goddamn alien.
self-absorbed.
What's really the point, right? What do you think, Debbie?
Oh, you did
Aw, she's
not.
shy. So, do we have an understanding? Get the fuck out of my country.
I'm going to feed you your own heart.
Oh.
Shit. That was a great line.
He means it. Ooh. Damn.
Country? Seriously? I'm not here for your country.
Come on. Let's get it. Okay, good choice in this music. Ooh. He does have a thing for grabbing people to the back of the head.
Never been hit by someone your own size before? You have to turn with the punch to reduce...
Oh! Woo! That's a nasty nose breaking. Ow. Ow. Yep, you did that. You did it.
What's the matter? Are you going to cry?
From the looks of it, yeah, he is.
After I'm done with you, I'm gonna flashpoint that little shit son of yours! This worthless neighborhood! And every goddamn person you know!
Jeez. Ooh.
Remember what I promised you.
And he did. Yes, he did.
Now swallow.
Yes. Oh.
Merry Christmas.
Damn. Jesus Christ.
It sure seems like he was working out some aggression there.
Despite Homelander's dominance within the world of the boys, he's a big fish in a small pond, relatively speaking.
Yeah.
Homelander can move faster than sound, while Omni-Man can move faster than light. Homelander can survive a nuke, while Omni-Man can shatter the moon twice over.
To be fair, Homelander did have a couple of abilities Omni-Man didn't, like his heat vision.
And while Viltrumite healing factors have failed against continuous exposure to the heat of stars, that still took quite a bit of time, and there's no reason to think Homelander's heat vision was anywhere near that hot.
Hell, Nolan's tanked heat vision from the superhero Mean Supreme before, who can vaporize people in an instant.
Even if it was hot enough, Omni-Man's superior speed would cut him off before he could do any lasting damage. Similarly, despite being able to disrupt his equilibrium with his supersonic screaming, Homelander wasn't strong enough to capitalize on it in any meaningful way.
Plus, while Homelander is pretty devious when the situation calls for it, Omni-Man has been fighting and conquering worlds for thousands of years. He comes from a warrior culture based on fighting. Homelander, on the other hand, comes from a test tube and never had to push himself as a fighter because he was always so much stronger than everyone else.
And that's the key difference between them. One is a warrior, and the other is a bully. Homelander was never going to get it easy, but Omni-Man's skill, power, and Viltrumite heritage earned him the win.
When it comes to Superman knockoffs, Homelander had to eat his heart out.
The winner is Omni-Man.
I should have said Superman knockoff. And you know, there's another big difference between those two is that Omni-Man has a healing factor, but Homelander does not. So I was kind of wondering about that because he may have some advantage like the heat vision and the supersonic scream, and yet it was not enough to take one big man who was trained his entire life to be as a bred warrior. So yeah, I could definitely see the big differences because he's a warrior. And Homelander, or John, that was born on the test tube and basically just what I like to call a drama queen with so many issues and insecurities, and that what led to his downfall. And remember what he said that I'm going to rip your heart out and make you eat it? He kept his word. And he literally ripped his heart out. And we're talking about Mortal Kombat Kano style. And even though that he somehow reattached that lower jaw that ripped out, and it was just an easy fix, and it was over. Just head gushing and just fled off. Well played. Well played. And you know what? If you ask me, I would like to see if they actually bring Hyperion versus Omni-Man. And let's also see if Sentry can fight on Homelander. Because, you know, for being as a man who claimed to be possessed the powers of 1,000 exploding suns, and yet he has a knack of just ripping people apart. From Carnage to Ares, I would like to see that if you do that to a man baby who just has a very issues, he could barely control all his emotions and go in complete panic mode. But these are just some thoughts. But what did you think of that episode? Or more specifically, who did you actually root it for? The big Omni-Man or Homelander? So I'd like to hear what your thoughts about this. And if you enjoy that, let's leave it a like and also leave the comments down below. And I will catch y'all in the next video. So take care, guys, and be safe.